This is the second video in a two-part series. I'm going to show you how to fold a fleet of Delta sailboats. This is the largest sailboat in our fleet. Here we have a medium-sized one, and here we have a small sailboat in the fleet. Again, just to review, we're talking about a curve, y equals x squared, and we're looking at the slope of the tangent for the curve at this point. So we also have a boat back here, which is an important boat. This is the boat you get when you keep going. So you start with a large boat, you get a smaller boat, and then a smaller one. Imagine you keep folding smaller and smaller boats, and you do that forever. Well, then you get a boat that looks like this. So keep in mind that the height of our sail is scaled. So a unit, the thumb, something that's the size of your thumb on this side, in this direction, is going to be worth a lot more than something the size of your thumb along the width of the boat. So what are the steps to folding a Delta sailboat? They're really just 4 steps. First is to fold a border. We need that to have some color in the boat and to show the hull. The second step is to fold a few critical creases. Our third step is to fold a diagonal. We get rid of some paper, then we fold a diagonal. And our final step is to prepare the boat for display. So we start with a piece of paper. I'm using 15 centimeter kami paper. And we want to create a border. So we fold up one edge of the paper. It doesn't really matter how far up we fold, but I like to fold my border at about here, like this. Now, I'm first going to show you how I folded the large Delta sailboat. So I folded up my border, and then I unfolded it, and now I'm going to create notch marks along this edge of the paper. To do that, I just fold edge to edge, create a notch, don't fold all the way through, unfold, and then bring the edge to the notch we just made. And do the same on the other side, bring this edge to the middle notch. Then if you turn your paper over, you have these notches along this edge. I like to number my notches, so I'm going to number this 0, 2, 4, 6, and 8. Now, where we made a crease, we can fold back in that direction. And now we're ready to put notches along this side because we need for each boat 2 critical lines. We need a line here, which represents the value of the point, tells us how far up to go along this edge for this point along the curve. Let me just show you again the curve. Here we have the curve. We're talking about this point. We need to know how far up to go to reach that point along this edge. So we need to fold this crease. So this is I knew this was at 4. I need to fold this at 4. I know this up here is 64. What I do is I keep folding in half. I fold the top edge down to the bottom piece of paper. I create a notch like that. That's my 32nd mark. Then I fold up to that notch there. I create another notch. That's my 16 mark. And then I keep folding. I fold the edge up to this mark here. That gives me 8. And finally, I fold the edge up to the 8 notch, and that gives me 4. So we are ready now to fold along this crease. This is one of our 2 critical creases, or I guess 4 critical creases. So we fold up like this. And now we also want to hide the part of the paper that corresponds to 2 in that direction. So we're just going to fold back like that. So now we have folded our critical creases. We've hidden the paper we don't want to see, and we're ready to fold a diagonal. We have a nice rectangle. It's easy to fold a diagonal. We do it like that. So that is our sail. It has these notches here, which is not so bad actually, because sailboats often have little slats right there. Okay, we open up our piece of paper. We're ready to prepare it for display. We take this edge, we bring it up to the 4 line here. We're always going to do that with every boat that we fold. And we fold away along the 2 line. And now we fold our diagonal. So now we have something that is looking like our boat. I like to fold in the corners here and here. And our boat is now completed. Well, not quite. We still need to do a little fooling around in the back so the boat stands up, but it stands up pretty easily, and particularly for, say, a large or medium-sized boat, no problem getting it to stand up. So here is our large boat. Now, I'm also going to show you how to do this with a medium-sized boat, because we have one more crease to make. We can't utilize the edge of the paper. We fold up along the, just as we did before, making notches along the side, we fold up till we get to our first crease, which was made for our border. And then we need to find the mark for 36. So keep in mind, this is for this point here. We're going to make a boat corresponding to this point here. We know 6 squared is 36. So we need to make a crease along 36. To do that, it's not hard. We fold the paper down to get to the 32nd point. And then we fold to the 32nd point. That gives us 48. We fold that in half. It gives us 40. And then if we fold the 40 to the 32nd line like this, we get our crease. We're going to fold back. Now to go on to the next step, we're going to fold back along the top crease like that. And we're going to open our paper up and fold along the 4 line, because we always fold along the 4 line for a point of 2. And we fold back these parts of the paper as well. And that gives us a nice rectangle. We fold a diagonal on this rectangle from this point up to this point, and we have our sail. That's really what's important. So we're going to unfold the paper now to prepare it for display. We fold the edge up to the 4 line. We fold back. We fold the paper down from the top along the line for 36. We tuck in the sides, and we make our diagonal. And again, I fold in the corners like that. We have our medium-sized boat right there. Okay, that was easy. Now, I want to compare 2 variations on this. So one variation is that we fold boats without any numbers. So my boats, I put some numbers on them, and I like to have some numbers there. But we can actually fold these boats without any numbers at all. We can just use the paper. But there's another way, which is the kind of standard way. We to do this, we just use numbers. So what we can do is we can write delta y over delta x. And we know our equation is y equals x squared. And suppose we want to create a smaller boat. Just get a smaller interval. We can say pick the interval of 1. I've done intervals of 6, of 6, 4, and 2. But if we do an interval of 1, we are are going to use 3. So we will have 3 minus 2 here. That'll give us an interval of 1. And up here, we know 2 squared is 4. And we know 3 squared is 9. So we subtract 4 from 9. And then we can reduce this. It's 5 over 1, which just equals 5. So that's our answer for an estimate of the slope of the tangent. It's 5. Now, that's doing it without any paper at all. It's very fast and it's very precise. But now I'm going to do it without any numbers at all. So imagine you have a piece of paper like this, and I'll fold up a border, and you have a curve. Let's consider how to do this for some other curve, any curve. So suppose I go like this and draw a curve, and I want to look at the tangent, the slope of the tangent for this particular point on the curve, and I want to make a small boat for that. So maybe I do it here. I consider an interval of this length from here to here. All we do to make a delta sailboat for this interval is we fold a horizontal crease that intersects the point here and a vertical crease that intersects the same point. And then we do the same thing for this point up here. We draw a vertical crease, we fold a vertical crease and a horizontal crease. So I'm going to do that now, if I can do it quickly. So there's one crease, and here's another crease, and I'm going to do it for our second point. And let's get one here. Okay, now we have our critical creases. There's a lot of paper around our boat. So I'm going to get rid of that paper by doing something that in origami is often not very attractive. I'm going to rip the paper. Oops. Fortunately, it was okay when we got to the sail part of the paper, even though it was a little messy further up. Now, there's a lot of paper here, so I'm going to rip this away. Okay, now I've got a lot of paper at the top. Let's get rid of that. Okay, and we got a lot of paper at the bottom. Let's get rid of some of that. And now if we fold up, we have our, oh, I didn't get rid of enough of it, so I'll just fold it back here. So if we fold up, we have our rectangle. We're ready to fold our diagonal. We fold from this corner up to this corner here. And I'll fold like this. There we go. There's our diagonal. Now we prepare the boat for display. I do some unfolding. And I'm going to fold up to the bottom line here, and I'm going to fold back here. And now I'm going to tuck in my corners like this. And now we have a little boat like that. So this is a way to do it, kind of a pure way to do it without any numbers showing. And here's a pure way to do it without any paper. And it's really up to you. Which do you like to look at after it's all done? You can look at this, or you can look at this.